Welcome to the Financial Quarterback with your host, Jim Lineweaver.
Hi, I'm Jim Lineweaver, your financial quarterback since 1993. Today's program is designed to help you coordinate all your financial, tax, legal, and insurance to try to save you time, money, and worry. You know, there's something pending in the legislation that can really affect your retirement. So we brought special guest Mark Sipos with us. He's the director of LFG Tax Services. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jim.
Now, I understand one of these laws have actually already passed the House.
Yeah, May 23rd of this year, the U.S. Representatives passed what they call the Secure Act. And the provisions of this act was to broaden the retirement plan so more people could save for longer periods of time, and also employers would be able to set up plans and include more employees as well.
I understand one of the biggest changes that they're going to do is possibly remove this stretch IRA provision.
Correct. So when someone inherits an IRA from a loved one that has passed away, they could take that money through required minimum distributions over their own lifetime and have the big effect of that compounding year after year tax deferred. The new act will do away with that.
So I know traditionally a spouse could inherit the money and continue that on, and then when it went to the kids, they could stretch it out over their lifetime too, but now that's going to be compressed down to just 10 years.
That's correct. So a lot more planning is going to be needed as far as an inherited IRA comes into effect.
So what else are you seeing?
They're going to repeal the age requirement for contributing to an IRA, which is now 70 and a half. Required minimum distributions will now be required at age 72 instead of age 70 and a half. And long-term part-time employees will now be eligible to be into their employer's 401k plans.
Well, and along the same lines with 401ks, I know employers will now be able to do an auto-enroll safe harbor, which is traditionally at 10%, but they'll be able to bump that all the way up to 15% so employees can put more money away.
And also, parents can take up to $5,000 out of their retirement plan, penalty-free, to pay for certain adoption expenses. Also, $10,000 is eligible now out of a 529 plan to pay down their student loans.
So this passed the House, but I understand there's also something pending in the Senate.
Correct. The Senate Finance Committee has one called RESA, and it's very similar to this, and it will also do away with the stretch IRA.
And I understand one of the big differences of the two is that the House bill said let's extend out the time for required minimum distributions till 72, but the Senate bill says keep the RMDs at 70 and a half.
That's correct. And there is broad bipartisan support for this bill in the Senate, but it has not yet been voted on. So if there are material changes once it passes, they'll have to bounce it back to the House to get a new vote and then on to the President.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us up to date on all these changes and probably right around the corner. So thanks for doing that for us. And you can log on to lineweaver.net to get all those updates. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to The Chris Wallace Show coming up next.